You know him from Tesla, you know him from SpaceX, you may even know him from the Joe Rogan podcast. Elon Musk is no doubt one of the most interesting figures of our time. His efforts have already altered the way humans live and think, and he's just getting started. So what exactly does Elon Musk do all day? If you've been asking that question, you're in the right place, because today we have for you a day in the life of Elon Musk, the not-so-early riser. Musk says he wakes up at around 7 a.m. each day. It's probably a lot later than you were expecting from such a high-level performer, and it's quite likely he wakes up later than you do. Elon's rationale for the later wake-up time is that he stays up quite late, around 1 o'clock in the morning, and is adamant about the necessity of an adequate number of hours spent asleep. We know from the current sleep research and from Elon's own experience that getting enough sleep is crucial to mental performance. And a guy like Musk simply cannot afford to sacrifice even a little bit of that. Breakfast. Musk doesn't always eat breakfast. Despite the long-held notion that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, Musk claims that he doesn't necessarily have time for that, and many mornings simply grabs a coffee on his way out. But when someone is preparing breakfast for him, he will have an omelet. Anyone else a tad bit confused as to why Elon Musk doesn't have someone cooking breakfast for him every morning? The kids. Okay, so following breakfast, Elon needs to get his kids to school. But how does he have time for that? Easy. Musk solved that little problem by opening a school on the SpaceX campus. As you can surely imagine, this place is unlike anything you'll see in an American public school. The curriculum is heavily focused on engineering, math, and technology, and the student body is made up mostly of SpaceX employee children. Musk himself has 6 living kids and 1 son who tragically passed away at only 10 weeks old. He had 1 set of twins and 1 set of triplets with his first wife after the passing of the couple's first child. And later on, Elon and the Canadian musician Grimes had a baby boy, bringing the Musk family total to 6. One can't help but wonder how on earth such an elite entrepreneur has time to handle 6 kids. The answer to this question is twofold. On the one hand, Musk lets his children tag along on different work-related ventures and trips, spending time with them in between things he has to do. So it seems that, much like his email inbox, Elon has found a way to integrate his duties as a parent into his work life. On the other hand, Elon is a bit of a workaholic and probably doesn't have the time to devote to such a large family. I am speculating just a bit here, but given the fact that his first 2 marriages ended in divorce and his second wife was divorced from him 2 times over, you get the impression that perhaps he isn't devoted enough to his family life to really make things work. His kids probably don't see him as much or get the kind of attention they really need from him since he's pulled in so many different directions. It is clear, though, that he does love his kids and wants to create a better world and society for them to live in. But the goal of changing the world for humanity and the goal of being a devoted and present father conflict on many levels. Work. When it's time to work, Elon Musk works, and works hard. In his early days as an entrepreneur, he was regularly sleeping in his office and coding all night long. His strategy was very simple. You'll get more done than anybody else if you put in more focused working hours than everybody else. That's exactly how Musk has conducted himself throughout his career, even at one point making his girlfriend sleep in his office in order for the couple to spend time together. Good strategy for crushing your work, but not a great way to win friends and influence people. One way that Elon accomplishes more than everybody else is by leveraging the current technology to get more things done. So if you're on a plane or waiting for a bus, knock out some emails on your smartphone. Schedule phone calls that need to be made for your commuting time when you can't be doing anything else, etc. Adopting this strategy will allow you to get more out of your working hours, and if you're subscribed to Behind the Screen, you can also use this method to stay up to date on our great videos. Musk split his time between his 2 main ventures, SpaceX and Tesla, usually spending 3 to 4 days a week at Tesla and the remainder of the time at SpaceX. To make this happen, he's usually flying from one location to the other at least twice a week, and sometimes more. That's for work that must be handled on location, but as we've already seen, Musk likes to do as much remote work as can be done from wherever he happens to be at the time. So you can imagine a scenario where he takes calls to do with Tesla on his commute to SpaceX, where he's working until it's time for a coffee break, during which he answers some emails that have to do with Tesla. Then, waiting for a meeting to start, he's on the phone with some other obscure business venture we don't even know about yet. And so on until it's 1 a.m. and time to hit the hay. Musk schedules out his day in specific blocks of time focused on different tasks and types of work. There's a misconception that Elon's mostly a public figure who spends a lot of time running meetings or something, but he's insistent that at least 80% of his time is spent on engineering and design, setting him apart from many other heads of companies. That's a lot of very mentally taxing work. Think you could handle it? And finally, in regards to Elon Musk's work habits, according to a SpaceX employee, close acquaintance to Elon, Garrett Reisman, Elon views every single decision and action through the prism of changing the way we live our lives. He even goes as far as to say that Elon will weigh decisions on the basis of which choice will move humans closer to colonizing Mars. That's pretty out there, but as crazy as this type of goal-oriented big-picture thinking has, a lot to do with Musk's massive success. Something we can all take from this example is to let your mission guide everything you do. No decision is too minuscule to be determined by our North Star set firmly in its place. So there you have it, a quick look into the hard-charging, high-performing life of Elon Musk. A lot of people want to be him, or at least be like him. But very few are willing to submit to this lifestyle in order to do all the things Elon Musk does. Do you think you can handle this hyper-efficient way of living? Or do you prefer to kick back, spend some time with your family, and live a more relaxed existence? Let us know your answers to all these questions in the comments. And until next time, behind the screen fans, stay classy.